Hi, I'm Eugene Mulder, Brandon here. I'm here tonight to request our family placing a memorial bench at the baseball field in memory of our son who was killed last year. We had talked to the members of the baseball board and they said it'd be okay if we did it. We thought between the dugout on the first base side and the bullpen, kind of on the little hill on the back side of the sidewalk there. It's
Between A and D, right? Is that right? Am I thinking that
Well,
correctly? Yes, okay.
it'd be down the line from A, towards the outfield fence, there's the bullpen past the dugout there. So it's still, you're thinking on the A side?
Yes.
Yeah, so on the other side of the grass there where that knoll is kind of. And then would this be, like a permanent mount?
Yes.
Or- Okay.
We thought if it'd be okay, we could have somebody put a cement pad down and we could anchor the bench to it. It could be put away over the winter, but it doesn't have to be. It's made of recycled plastic lumber. It's got a 35-year warranty. So it's good quality. I have it in my basement right now, ready to go. So with your permission, we would like to go forward with that.
Devin, especially on a cement pad, then that wouldn't interfere with mowing and trimming, correct? It should be good.
Yep, and then actually, the baseball folks take care of that whole alleyway around there anyway, so as long as you ran it by them already, and they were good with it. Yeah, but no, on a cement slab would be preferred, yeah.
Okay. And we'll have a contractor do that.
I'd make a motion to approve allowing the Mulder family to put the bench out there.
I second.
Another discussion at all? Any other concerns that, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
My name is Becky McCabe, and I am with BASA. And every fall and spring, for the past couple of years, we've had the T-Tempo Soccer Club kind of coordinating with us and working with us on bringing their tournament and hosting it in Brandon. So we're looking for approval of that again. It is June 10th through the 12th, and it brings about 2,000 to 3,000 people into town. And it's typically out at McCarty Park, and then we're discussing other locations with the school district because we usually use areas out there, but obviously the practice football area is under construction, so we're keep working with them, but we've used the front part of McCarty and then obviously the soccer complex in addition to other green spaces, so just looking for approval.
About the only thing I would add is, we recently had a subcommittee talking about fee structures and things like that for groups, especially groups that are not branded groups, but, others coming in. So we are proposing there would be a fee this time around, and the fee would mostly just include the emptying of the holding tank out there, and just a little bit more for staff fees and things like that. So all in all, that comes up to about $675 is what we would charge. If you're okay with that, then I'm okay with it all too.
Do we have anything else at McCarty, those dates that you know of? Is that a Friday, Saturday,
Yeah,
Sunday?
Friday night through Sunday afternoon.
Okay.
Yep.
Not off the top of my head, usually the ball games down there are just Monday through Thursday.
Yeah.
Off the top of my head, sometimes McCarty plays on a Friday, but I don't know that for sure.
Have you had any conversations about those fees with them and all that?
No, not with the associations yet.
Sorry, I thought it was on. All right, so can we send an email kind of outlining what those are going to be?
Mm-hmm. Yep, and this fee doesn't necessarily have to deal with soccer association, it just has to deal with
The
group.
tournament itself.
Yes, exactly.
Yep.
Yeah, I think one of the concerns is it is an increased expense to the city, especially like they have to pump the holding tanks and they have to pay for that. It isn't done internally or anything, so.
Any other questions or comments? Okay. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve tournament. I'll second it.
Okay. Any other follow-up discussion? Okay, I guess as long as I don't know who the conduit should be, if that should be you, Becky, about those fees or,
Yeah, I'm actually on my way to our board meeting now, so I'll just make sure that they are aware of that, and that should be no problem.
okay.
Yeah, and then I don't know if we still have to run this by council. I'll have to ask and find out for sure, but yeah, you'll have the park board recommendation, so.
All right, all in favor?
I
Opposed? Okay. Thanks, Becky.
All right,
for
thanks you
coming
guys,
in.
appreciate it.
hope you have good weather that weekend.
Yes.
Yeah, right. Okay, with that, we're gonna move to items 9, 10, 11, and 12. We're gonna skip the bicycle update. No, I'm just kidding. We're at item number 8, the number 7, which is the BV batting cage update.
I guess I can give a quick update. They're not here. They want to put a batting cage, a new one up. I've recommended that they put it behind fields C and E. There's a pretty big open space there. There's a few ash trees that have to come out anyway. We're working on an MOU for them, and they just need to give me a rough site plan where they're planning to get power, things like that. But otherwise, that's as good a spot as any to put it, so.
I know you've been working pretty closely with them on this.
Yeah,
here,
and it
so-
is a joint, I think it's joint between baseball and softball, isn't it?
Yeah, that was my understanding, because this would be the same place that they talked about to us last month, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a joint thing.
Yep, so they're working together on this one, so. And I can tell if we want Hope or somebody else to be here next time, I can get that, otherwise.
I guess from my perspective, for the community's consideration, I'm totally okay with doing a motion now as long as all the details are vetted through Devin as progress happens. I mean, there's no sense in having to be redundant about it.
No, design plan should go through Devin, and Tammy, I suppose, needs to approve it, but, I mean, the concept, I'm good with it.
We just, yeah, as soon as that MOU is signed, and as long as I guess I should say, as long as the MOU is signed, I'm good with it too.
Yeah. I got it to Lisa right now, she's going through it, we'll review it from staff side and get it out to them.
All right, awesome. With that discussion, is there a motion on approval of the batting cage?
Motion to approve the batting cage with the
Second.
MOU. Yep.
Yeah, okay. Thank you. So
Second to
there's
the
a motion and a second with the MOU signing. Any other discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, batting cage is approved. With that, that brings us to item number 8, the bike and ped plan. I don't, okay. We'll go ahead. You guys are up here on the bike and ped plan. Yeah. Yes.
All right, I'm gonna share my screen and hopefully you guys can see this. Let me know. Right. Okay, well, hi, I'm Will Kearns. I met some of you guys before. Let's see.
I just had one question. Will, when you talked about closing the gaps, a lot of it was in the core area. So that price tag that you quoted, was that not including our construction, or was that already considered in the cost of construction?
That is a good question. I am gonna find that out.
Will, I'm wondering in the final document, I know you've prioritized, like, when it comes to safe routes to school walks and those kind of things, but when it comes to the larger trail infrastructure projects and those kind of things, are you prioritizing those at all? And/or looking for potential opportunities for funding for the city to try to get some of those to happen?
So to answer the first part,
Oh, just
for the city, for and potentially win a whole host of grant projects. There's lots of grants out there right now for trails and for bike and pedestrian connectivity.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. Just one last question for you. I'm sure there'll be some people, there's a lot of big ideas here, which I think are great, right? And need to be part of a plan like this. But I'm sure there'll be some people against it just from well, that's 80 times what Brandon currently has today, even though this is a long-range plan. Do you look at, as part of this, any operations or maintenance costs for these types of facilities and what that adds to the city's operational cost to, just deal with trails that get run down and need to be repaired and mowed along and those kind of things?
Part of the under the maintenance section. So yes, we have looked at that and it's in there.
That's awesome. That's good. I think that really covers those bases. I just want to thank you for your efforts on this. I think it's great to have such a comprehensive plan that I certainly saw a lot of projects on there that we've been talking about for 20 years. So it's nice to kind of see them added and to give them fresh energy.
Yeah, get them down on paper. That way we can rally the troops around it and potentially get champions. It always helps to have champions for particular trails. So identify your champions, and it also helps to get people like volunteers to do some of the grant applications themselves, rather than putting grant application administrative burden on town and on city staff. If you can identify some enthusiastic volunteers to put some time into developing grant applications, that also helps the city to, to get trails and to get funding. Because grants, as you know, grants are not always, you know, guaranteed. It's a competitive process. So identifying potential volunteers to work on.
Will, one other question. Did you look at any connectivity to like the new school? Most of the trails that you know identified and things that are definitely needed was in the existing parts of town. With the new school on the east side of Brandon, did you look at any future, you know, connectivity, bike trails to that school in your safe paths to school?
You know, that is a good question. I do not have any recommendations for that. I think we identified it in our plan development, but I think I need to go back and take a look at that. We might need to include a recommendation about that. I know that there's some existing plans to build trails to the school. However, I don't think we have any maps showing it. So that might be something I put in during the plan finalization process. So I think expect an additional recommendation from me when I see you guys in person to present the final plan. I think that's a great call.
Okay, because
I'll add that.
all right, because there was that one, and then, you know, the bluffs are expanding so much further south that a trail up on top of that hill where the bluffs are being built, just for future use up there to connect over to, what is that, Maple? That goes by the
gravel
Fred
road.
Assam, the gravel road
Yeah.
there. You know, something connecting that to that housing development over there by Maple, just for future connectivity is something that we should plan and look at since Brandon is expanding that bluff so much further south.
Okay. If you can, go in and mark that with a line on our interactive mapping tool if you have time. Because I think I know what you're talking about. I'm sure Tammy knows what you're talking about, so maybe I can have Tammy show me, but yes, let's include that.
All right, thank you.
I had a question too. Great presentation first. I noticed the scale on each of those, and I was trying to then in my mind try to figure out how long these various trails would end up being. Do you have anything that shows like what the trail distance would be, terminus to terminus on each of the ones? It looked to me like, you know, when everything was done there, a person could take your rail and trail phase 1 and phase 2, and then you could connect up with that North Greenway one that had a lot of curves. That's where I couldn't really figure the mileage. And loop back around so you could take like an alternate route and make a big circle. I thought something like that would be interesting to know.
We included linear feet on our cost estimates. So we have planning level cost estimates for every project that we've proposed. And part of those cost estimates includes a linear foot per project. So
Perfect.
I do have it, and it'll be in the appendix of the plan.
Perfect. Thank you.
And I think all the appendices are up for review within the plan document that's going to be posted publicly. So yeah, you will have access to how many linear feet each trail, each proposed project is.
Great. Thank you.
Okay, any other questions for Will? All right, thank you again, Will, for taking the time. I know this has been a long process between you and Tammy and the rest of the city staff. It makes a lot of job security for Devon, so we appreciate that.
Well, thank you very much.
now we can see ourselves.
See Devin.
All right. Any other kind of internal board discussion on that presentation at all that you want to bring to Tammy's attention or anything?
What I really thought was, kind of an important thing was that the closing the gaps, and creating those safer crosswalks along Redwood. I thought that was a really good idea on that, because there's a lot of people that come down from up the hill to walk and things like that and ride their bikes to school, that the crosswalks there at that corner would be, even just the signage, I think would make a big difference. But yeah, closing the gaps throughout the city, I don't know why we haven't been more forceful on that. Getting those, the homeowners to close those gaps, or the property owners, not necessarily homeowners, because a lot of times they're vacant lots, but getting the property owners to close those gaps. I also looked out at, every time I drive down Holly outside of town, I wonder why we don't have sidewalks along those apartment buildings and along Odie's and along, some of those things that would help. I know it's not a save-all for the kids riding from the bluffs to get down, but it would get them off of the highway for a little while, up until the new pit there or whatever that's going, that took away all of the excess shoulder. But, there's some of those properties that I really think would make a big difference if we could just get sidewalks in place on some of those. So.
Yeah, I was really excited to see that plan at McCarty,
Yeah.
because we've heard how much over the years, people on the east side saying our kids have no way to ride to the swimming pool. And that bridge and the cost of that bridge has always been prohibitive. That idea to come down the road and go through the woods, and plus it'd be more scenic. I think that's a really neat idea if it doesn't get flooded out. But very, very creative solution. Yeah.
I guess the last thing I would put out there, just for everyone's consideration on this, is I know there's some bigger picture things in this that you're like, whoa, is that even really possible, right? But I think if you even look back at what the community has achieved in the last 18 years, and I'll just use the core neighborhoods as an example, 15 plus years ago when we talked about putting walks in the core area, it was completely nullified for a variety of reasons, right? And so here we are doing it today, and I think those same things about the energy and future apply. Everyone, the general public is starting to see the importance of that and is beginning to appreciate those types of forethought. And where it wasn't important 20, 30 years ago when some of these improvements were built, it is today. So I think this plan gives us the guidance and gives Tammy the tools, working in conjunction with council and other funding sources, to try to get some of these things accomplished and most certainly planned. So it's a big win.
Yeah, I mean, I really liked that rail with trail, is that what rail with trail? The one that kind of goes around by the, the backside of, kind of by the horse people, and along the backside of that new pit and things like that, along the, is that Ellis and Eastern? Yeah, along that railway. I mean, it would get people off of the main road, kind of a more, like you said, scenic route. If you could connect all the way to Veterans Highway, I mean, that would be a huge connectivity feather in our cap, just something to connect there to get to Brandon. That would be awesome.
Yeah, so thanks.
The city actually owns that land, yeah, and we have to have a maintenance pass anyway for our sewer main that's underneath of it, so it's an easy one to put in there.
To do, yeah. I mean, I think that's a great, I would move that to phase 1 instead of phase 2, but just because it would be something we could get done quicker, I think. But I just thought that was a great idea. Who would have thought, putting it back that, that it connects where we want to connect.
So even though Tammy's drinking out of a Jackrabbit water mug, I'd like to thank her for her efforts along with the SAT and everybody else. I know it's taken a lot of time to get this done, but while there may be some details that everybody disagrees on, it's a big step, so thank you. All right, with that, let's jump into item number 9, which is Healthy Hometown. I'm not sure that there's any updates there, so that's good. I'm assuming it's the same thing with number 10. Yeah, all right, wellness group. Number 11 is Parks CIP discussion. I know some preliminary information got handed out in our last meeting. Barb and I have scheduled a meeting with Devin and Brian for next week to talk about some of that in more detail as well. So if you have any thoughts post this meeting, please feel free to communicate them with me and Barb, or please. Yeah, right.
Same thing.
Yeah, okay. So
Got trails to build now.
that's a simple enough statement. I can remember that for our meeting. But you're certainly welcome to come to that meeting too, but we just want to talk about some of those more details. So just to let everybody know about that. Item number 12, tree board items. Devin, any news there? Obviously, ash tree removal stops at Memorial Day from a public standpoint.
Yep, no, otherwise nothing new yet. Probably need to start getting together to get that out for bids soonish, but no, nothing at the moment.
Tree dump this weekend?
Yep. Yeah, that's all.
Okay. Item number 13, Devin, you wanted to add pickleball.
Yeah, the pickleball group contacted me just today. They're just expressing some concerns. They say that the nets are they're in rough shape. They're older. They're a few years old. I have a grant applied for to get some new ones. I haven't heard back from them yet, but they were also more curious if there was any way to. She had lots of ideas, but I don't want to go so far as to say they wanted to store some of nets locked up in that shed for just them, or she was trying to bounce different ideas off. I said, well, we can't have pickleball nets that not everybody can use, but so I just thought I would bring it up here and see if you guys had any ideas. She's saying that there must be kids or something who are coming and playing at night, and they're rough on the nets, taking them apart, doing whatever, and they are just portable nets, so the more you put them up and take them down, the worse shape they do get, but
Right.
I'm open to
That was my question. So we store those everybody nets in a,
So the
On
nets
site?
are up all the time,
okay.
and they're just up and away. We have them tied up to the fence, so when you want to play, you can drag them out and play. If tennis wants to play, you just slide them off to the side. So they're not being dismantled and everything, but yeah, moving them around and everything like that. If people are rough to them, they aren't going to hold up forever.
Right. So is there a way that we could get a storage facility for them, for if they bought nets themselves that they could store in there? We would still have our nets that the public can use that we would pay for.
Right.
But if they wanted to buy nets and have them locked up for their personal use or tournament use or whatever you want to call it, is that a possibility where we could have a secured, locked, where you would have a key, they would have a key?
Right. Yeah, we have a storage shed right there. That's what we use it for. It's the
Yeah.
old skateboard park shed.
Oh, okay.
So that would be really easy just to, if they wanted to do that, have their own nice nets that they.
Yeah,
get in
that
and
would
out.
be my suggestion is, we'll provide the storage for them, secured storage, but we're not gonna pay for nets that not everybody can use.
Yeah,
So,
and that's what I tried to tell her too.
yeah, if they wanna purchase nets or have nets that get donated or whatever that they wanna secure,
Yeah.
we have the facility to do that. And then I suppose, depending on how old the nets are, we probably do need to look at a replacement
Yeah,
after
I'll
5
check on that
years, 4
grant.
years or something.
I was gonna get some new ones anyway.
Okay.
The grant came along, so I just applied for it to
Sure.
see what would happen. So I'll contact them and see where that's at.
Yeah, that
it's
would,
going nowhere,
that would be
I'll order new nets
I
anyway.
would think a good compromise solution that will provide the storage. If they want to provide the nets to lock up,
Yeah, that
then
works
they
for
could
me.
do that.
Okay. No, I'll bounce that off her, see what she says.
I think that's a really good short-term solution. And I think another thing, that group has to be fairly active, and I know they've always talked about, they don't have an association, they're part of the Sioux Falls Association and everything, but, you know, are they getting to the point where it would be viable for them to have a Brandon Pickleball Association, raise some money towards getting dedicated courts that we could participate in the construction of? But again, you know, with our budget, you know, we can provide land and, you know, but it'd be nice if we could give them something to shoot for where maybe it's a dedicated situation, the nets could be permanent instead of having to share with tennis. And but I think they have to get to the stage where they could come up with a little cash, you know, to do something like that.
Is there room down there beside the existing pickleball courts that they could, you know, we could add on and then just have dedicated, dedicated pickleball courts? Is there room beside it if we added more? I can't remember.
I would say personally, not really, but you know, the school said that in the not too far future, they're gonna add on to their tennis courts. And once they do that, ours will be not needed for them. So in theory, we could turn them into full-blown pickleball in maybe a couple of years, I don't know.
Yeah,
That'd be,
keep in mind.
dedicated pickleball courts would be really nice.
It would be, yes.
All right, so if you want to follow up with that, that would be great.
What's the
Debbie.
cost of nets?
They're, I don't remember, $200, give or take. And you know, they all are kind of you know, they're portable, they're temporary, so they're
I
not,
saw that the other day.
you spend the money on the nice ones, and they're nice, but the more you move around and do all that, they become less nice, so yeah, they don't hold up forever.
I was amazed in the evenings how many people are playing tennis. Quite a few. I mean, we're down there quite a bit for baseball lately, and it seems like there's always people down there playing tennis.
Wow.
But then those nets are just kind of slammed against the fence, so I could see through. That's all.
Okay, thank you for that, Devin. Any other work? Okay, with that, I'll take a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Sure.
Yes.
Is Adam, oh yeah, 'cause Dennis will be
Yep, so, thank you for that. So Devin, if you want to make the next meeting at 5:15, that'd be great.
That'd be the 15th, right? That's the third, or the third Wednesday, right?
third Wednesday, whatever that is. Yep.
All right, okay, with that, is there, yeah, there's a motion and a second, sorry, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, we're adjourned.
I missed what
Turn our video off.
this picture was.